Hi everyone and welcome to Crafty Kiara. Today we're going to make an Easter wreath using wire forms, 10-inch Deco Mesh, a wooden rabbit cutout, some zip ties, and a little bit of creativity. The material I'm using here is a 10-inch by 10-yard Deco Mesh that I got from Hobby Lobby. And it's got a nice Easter color arrangement here with the pink, yellow, and green. I also got to get a nice, pretty thick wooden rabbit that I also got from Hobby Lobby as well. And then I have my wire wreath frames. There's two here. There's one that's the 14-inch that's on the outside here, and then there's an 8-inch one on the inside. And I went ahead and I zip tied these together to make one large wreath frame. And the reason for that is because we're going to do kind of a flower petal method that you've probably seen in some other videos to make our Easter wreath. So the wooden rabbit, I went ahead and made one myself. So it is all complete and it's pretty straightforward. I just painted it white. I had some pink foam that I used for the ears and the nose. I had a leftover googly eye from something I had a while back, so I put that on, and a cotton tail. And I had some pink ribbon I added, and then I just used a Sharpie to add some detail to make our bunny complete. The way I'm going to attach things to the wreath is going to be with zip ties. And you can get a bunch of these at the Dollar Tree, you know, for pretty cheap. I think it's like a 60 pack for a certain length. Use what length that you want to use, or even whatever color you want to use. I'm going with white because overall this is a lighter color that we're dealing with, so I didn't want to have anything too bright that was going to show through. So I have a whole container of those here. And I'm just going to put this aside for right now because we're going to cut our pieces of Deco Mesh. What I use to cut with Deco Mesh is this rotary cutting tool. I've had it for a while and it's pretty handy, and it's real easy to cut across evenly to cut the different pieces. So I have that. You can also use your scissors as well. So let me go ahead and open this up. And Deco Mesh is fun to use because it's very easy to cut and it's easy to form into petals if you're looking for more of like a flower look. And since this is kind of a cross between Easter and spring, I like the idea of making a flower look, or flower petal look, I should say. So you want to be careful to remove the tape and don't start splitting the mesh. You want to have it hold together. So typically what you want to do is you want to have a 10-inch by 10-inch square. So you already have it 10 inches that way. So I have a little cutting board here and it goes up to 11 inches. So I'm going to just take a piece here, line it up pretty evenly. I'm going to roll this over. And as you get your method down, it'll be a little faster, but I'm just showing you here how this is going to work. And it's a little bit longer than my board, which is okay, because you can always shift it down and cut it. So I know the 10 is right here, so I'm going to engage my blade here so it's available. This is really sharp, so make sure you don't put your finger under it or go off onto the table because that'll cut the table. And just go along evenly along the 10. Alright, so now you have your 10 by 10 piece, and how you're going to make your petals is pretty easy. You're going to take an end and put it in the center, and you're going to fold the other part over. I like to overlap a little bit, probably about an inch on inch there. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see. So again, you're going to fold in your corner. Almost like you're, you know, making a triangle. You're going to fold this over. I like to have kind of an inch by inch piece in the center there. And then you're going to gather it up. I like to kind of pinch it like that. So you have a center piece here that comes up. You have the edge there and the edge there. So you're going to kind of accordion it together. And then you have, let me back up here, your piece that kind of looks like a bow. Your angles stick out there. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to bring it together evenly. and you have petals. So once you have your folded Deco Mesh petal, you want to make sure that it actually kind of fans out, because otherwise it might roll into a tighter petal, and you don't want that, especially when you get further in the roll. It tends to want to roll more. So you want to hold on to it, and you're going to come over here and you're going to go up pretty high into your frame. You're going to come to the third bar. Now, I know a lot of wreaths, when people are making them, they start out here, but for this case I want it to be a little bit smaller in diameter, so we're going to start here on the third. So I'm going to run my zip tie through here on the cross section right there. You see the cross section, and hold it down and pull your zip tie. And then cut your end off. So let me show you again how that looks. So you have your piece here, and see how this one's kind of got a little bit of a roll to it. You want to kind of go ahead and try to fan that out a little bit before you attach it to your frame. I'm going to go to the next cross section here, so that way I have an even distribution. Put your zip tie on and pull it tight. As you can see, this one still kind of wants to twist a little bit more. Just kind of flatten it down. And I'm trying to make sure the bottom of this lines up with the next row. That way I also know how much I've gotten on there. So you don't have too much. You're trying to keep as consistent as possible on your length as well. So you can see as I go around, so I've got 2 more cross beams here that I'm going to do it on, and then you're going to do the center one, and you're going to stagger it. And what that's going to look like when you do that, and I'll show you that real quick, is third beam here. There's no cross beam to help keep you center, so you're just going to have to eyeball it. And it still can slide. It's not stuck in place just because you have the zip tie on it. And that'll take care of your centerpiece there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and I'll show you a little bit more with the centerpiece, and then we'll start the next layer. Here I have, on the cross beams of the 8-inch wreath that's in the center, my 3 set up here, and then I'm going to start filling in. And since there's only 3, you're going to do 2. You're going to space 2 along there. So it's going to be on the highest point of this wreath frame. Your wreath frame might be slightly different in design for an 8-inch, but if you get the ones from Dollar Tree, this is the design they have. It's got a ridge, that middle bar is the ridge there. And you can get 2 for $1, which is pretty cool. Just like the 14-inch frame is $1 there as well. And now that they've expanded their craft section, you're more than likely to find them. They also have different shape frames, like you can get heart-shaped ones, or crosses, or candy canes. You can get different ones at different times of the year. So like I said, instead of just having 1 in between, we're going to have 2. So you want an equal distance spacing here. You're going to have to kind of eyeball it. Alright, let's go ahead and get this attached. And let me zoom in so you can see a little better. Let me rotate this around here. So you're going to have to eyeball these because there's not a cross beam to attach to. Make sure your petals are coming out and laying down nicely. You're going to fluff everything and straighten everything out after you get everything on, but you just kind of want to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And again, you're going to try to line up the bottom of the loop here with the bottom of the frame. That way you know you're getting the same distance on all of them, that you're not too far in or too far out. The biggest thing about doing a wreath like this is just making sure you have an equal distance and an equal number of pieces, unless of course you have an odd frame or something, or you're doing an odd size. So let's place our bunny on here just to see how it looks right now. to give us an idea if we're on the right track or if we need to add more. My opinion is we're going to need to add another level. And I kind of figured we did, but I wanted to at least see where we were at first. So thank you, Mr. Bunny. So we're going to need to add another layer inside there. Alright, so we're going to come a little bit further down. And we're going to go on the last bar here. And we're going to put on our mesh. And the idea is that it's going to help cover up more of the knots. And give us a little bit more of a layered effect there in the center. You're going to have to double check that you're going in between because it's getting hard to see. So here I want to make sure I didn't skip a spot. Almost done putting this layer on. And then we'll layer a bunny back down and we'll see if everything's covered up. So let's take our bunny. And that definitely covers everything now. And our little bunny can be in the center. You don't really see anything, you know, you can move it over a little bit. You can move the Deco Mesh around a little. So I think that'll actually look pretty good. So let's focus on how you're going to attach the bunny now. Move this out of the way. Alright, bunny, I'm flipping you over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the tie strips onto the bunny. Now, there's nothing in the center here of the wreath for you to attach to, so I'm going to need to do it probably like in the ears and down by the feet and maybe the nose. So not in the center, it's going to be along the edges. So I'm probably going to do 4 just to make sure I have enough there. Now you're going to want to kind of make it where it's glued in the center of the zip tie, because you're going to want to be able to put it on there and slide it down. So let me get my glue gun going and I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to show you how I attach the zip ties to the bunny using hot glue. So what you first do is you put a dollop of glue, you put the zip tie down, and you let it adhere. And then I'm going to come back and put more glue. But for right now I'm going to rotate that around and I'm going to put glue on this other piece here. And I marked X's where I want to put it. And again, we're kind of eyeballing it. It's not 100% accurate, but it'll work. So you're going to kind of press down. I use like a little pin here to help press it in more so I don't burn my fingers off. I have one here, an X, but I'm going to go ahead and put it a little further over. And when you put this on here, you want to make sure that your zip tie is facing the correct direction. So for instance, you want like the square part here to be face down. So that way when you bring it up and you put it in, it's going the correct direction. It's hard. So I'll go ahead and put another layer right on top of that. Like I use the nozzle to wipe it around. Get rid of your little glue strands. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and harden up, and then we'll attach it to the wreath. The glue on the bunny has dried and it's ready to be attached to the wreath. Alright, so I'm going to put the bunny on here and we're going to feed some of this down so I can start attaching it. Alright, so ideally you want to attach to the frame, the wreath frame underneath. So let's start with those couple there. Alright, so I've got this here. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up there. Or at least get it somewhat tightened. That's that end, right? Okay. I'll tighten that way. Alright, that looks good. and you want to take a last look at this and see if it's filled in sufficiently. If you need to move something over, like here, it's showing one of the knots. So you can kind of spread the petals out a little bit. And you're going to have his little ribbon come down like that. And I think he's looking pretty good. Here's our completed bunny wreath. And it's hanging on the back of a door right now. So you can kind of see how it spreads out. Let me zoom in a little bit. The bunny looks pretty good in the center there. You don't really see any of the knotting. I mean, you'd have to go up really close to see one. But most people aren't going to be that close to it. You can see how it has a nice little petal leaf effect going around with the Deco Mesh. And it's not a super large wreath. This is on a, I believe it's a 30-inch door. So it's not like one of your, main doors, an exterior door, but it's an interior door. I think it looks pretty cute. I'm going to put it on a wall so you can see some color behind it. Right now that's on a white door. Here I have the wreath on a colored wall. The wall is tan. Kind of give you an idea how that looks. Let me back up a little bit. I think it came out pretty good. You can definitely see the colors coming through, the kind of Easter colors. Let me see if I can brighten it a little bit. Which is pretty nice. I'm not going to add a bow to it. I think that would be too much. Just like having the bunny there in the center, representing Easter in spring. If you liked what you saw in the video, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube here. You can also follow us on social media. You can also follow us and check out our blog at craftykiara.com. And of course, you can go check out our shop on Etsy for Crafty Kiara Shop. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the next video.